And we are live. Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Talk Now live with Max and Larry, and Patches is here. So grateful that you have joined us here on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday evening. Max, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here. I guess we'll wait for some people to get here. I think there's some other shows going on as we speak, so we'll just kind of chill and monitor, the late stragglers or what you want to call it. So,
Okay, cool. Well, Patches just walked off the job. I think he went to go get something to eat or something, but he'll be back. Let's say hello to Michael Montclair is here. He says, hello. Is it me you're looking for? Lionel
Richie.
So from one singer to another singer, Lionel Richie is saying hello to Michael Montclair. So while we're waiting for everyone to come in, let's do this, Max. Let's do something a little different. Let's actually just, while you gather your thoughts there, let us show everybody who Michael Montclair is on YouTube. As we wait for more people to come in, we're going to show you guys who Michael Montclair is. So this is Michael Montclair. And you guys can subscribe to him. If you like the sound of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, those type of guys, that's what Michael Montclair sounds like. Good stuff. And he's a member of our community. He bought, looks like he bought JUP today. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Let us know more about that, Michael. So, Max, tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about this evening.
All right. So, a lot of times we put in these particular tags, for instance, they'll say, hashtag Volt, or say, by the way, last great meme coin. I saw that you put out a quick review on that. Right on, brother. Glad to see that.
Yeah, thank you for making the thumbnail. It came out really cool.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to try to make it worse. Like if somebody wanted to be, particular, be like, well, if he's on, the moon, or technically it was Mars, if he's on Mars, then why is his helmet off? And so okay. I did try to create that. It just didn't work out too well. It kind of looked too funky. But anyway, yeah, there he is. He basically did that not that long ago. Check it out if you want, and so on. I thought Larry did a really good job in that regard. I'll have to maybe I did retweet earlier, but if anything, you've been really busy getting things out. You want to click on some of the shorts too? I think
I'll show people
well
that.
in shorts. Yeah,
you've been doing a lot with the ISOs. You got your XRP videos here. Quant talking about FTX was a recap of the live show. XRP, XDC, Quant. So you got a lot of recorded videos on here. But yeah, the shorts have been it's been a lot of fun for me so far. I've been doing some different news clips. This one's about the UN actually used in Stellar Lumens as a blockchain to send victims in Ukraine USDC. So that's helping out. Crypto is being used to help out people from a humanitarian standpoint. A little bit about crypto regulation from the US, crypto.com, XRP information, Volt. There's a Donald Trump NFT, if you can believe that. And then just a bunch of other stuff. PayPal using crypto payments in concert with MetaMask, just a bunch of stuff. Of course, Sammy's been denied bail. But yeah, I've been enjoying doing the shorts this far.
Well, right on. Yeah, earlier, I don't know which particular one it was, because I saw you did some more since I actually looked, but I saw this one guy, and he's just like, go away. And I was like, well, you know what? These are good problems, because here's the thing. Yeah. If you're showing up on people's feed who are not even, I guess you could say, subscribed or whatever, then that means you've made an impact. And, guys, I think there's at least 4 videos on his shorts where, at least 1,000 views. He's got one on Dogecoin. It's like over 2,100 views. He did one earlier about PayPal, how they're implementing MetaMask. You want to elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, I'm surprised that PayPal hasn't been involved with crypto sooner. But yeah, PayPal is partnering up to use MetaMask to furnish its payments for crypto. But yeah, a lot of these shorts are just quick little, almost like headlines, just little bursts of information to add to your day. Hopefully, there'll be a little more substance. Right now, I would consider them to be a little fluffy, not a lot of substance to them. But as I get a little more comfortable with making shorts, I will be sure to start doing some things. Like I like kind of doing things like the top 3 things, like this right here, top 3 reasons why the next crypto bull run is going to happen. So I like to give maybe 3 or 4 different bullet points from now on in my shorts so that people can get some valuable information, let's say in 30, 40 seconds of time.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to recognize a few people from our audience who came in here in a bit. I just want to state this for those that just came to answer Larry's question. We're definitely going to have some educational and I guess you could say some headline clips in regards to what recently happened, especially as of, let's face it, the day before yesterday, and I think a little bit of today, the back and forth between Kevin O'Leary and CZ of Binance. So we have some of that specifically. We'll just get right to the quick gist of it without, making it too drawn out. On top of that, some XRP news in relation to everything that's been going on with the, ISO 222 messaging standard. Actually, believe it or not, some XLM Stellar Lumen news, right? Really hard to gather any community related news and so on. So I said to myself, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to go straight to the source. So I went and followed Danielle. You guys know hopefully you know who she is, from XLM. And on top of that, we actually have some brief XDC news, a little bit of Volt as well. So glad to have you guys here. And if anything, I think Larry's going to welcome some members of our daily audience that we have here. So thank you for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now.
Yeah, thank you, Max. Michael Montclair, to clarify, says it's Jupiter. It's a military grade encryption coin. All right, thank you for that. Look it up. Got some huge gains from it. Brian Dowie says, what's up to everybody? And Watermelon Sugar Crypto High. Good evening, Max and Larry. Thank you for being here. Eddie T, what's up? Smash the like button and sub. Thank you for that. Let's keep going here. Tim Shea says, hey, because that's what Tim Shea says. It rhymes with his last name, and he's a nice guy. All right, so we're just moving through here. All the comments. That pop-up is annoying.
What pop-up? Of Larry?
Oh, maybe like, yeah, it might have been something that I had to like click off.
I don't know what it
one
is.
Of the ads or something. Let's see. So, yeah. So, and you're going to start doing some shorts maybe on the ISOs, Max, at some point?
Yeah, after I get some things worked out that I mentioned to you earlier.
The technical stuff. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 7 people in here. We'd like to get a little bit bigger audience. If you guys could help us out and just hit the like button. Remember, you can see us every single night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a big Wednesday coming up next Wednesday. We're going to try to have our biggest roundtable yet. We had 5 of us was there yesterday. Max and I and 3 guys, right? Chaka, Wadi, and who am I forgetting? Daniel Gates. And so next week, we're going to try to have even more than that and just try to keep making the show better and better. But I'm excited to get some of this news in here. Let's say a couple more people here. Or no, one more person. Jerk Blue Wrench. I guess we have to give him a blue wrench. He has to be part of the Blue Wrench Club. He says, howdy. He calls himself Jerk, but he's actually a nice guy.
Yeah, Spicoli, man. Good to see you, bro. No. Tim Shea did make some clarification there in regards to the pop-up. He said, Mr. Not So Wonderful, King of Deflection.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's talking about Kevin O'Leary. Okay. Let me make sure I get Jerk. I'm going to get Jerk a blue wrench because he's got to be part of the blue wrench team. When we start the stream pop-up. Oh, was there like an ad or something coming on? There's not supposed to be any ads on our live show. But we had
we always have that off. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something that, maybe because you're not YouTube Premium or you're not using Ad Block Plus. So, yeah.
Let's get a wrench for Jerk.
Ad Block Plus.
All right. We still have the audio? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I'm just trying to get Jerk a blue wrench. Let's see. Almost got it. Congratulations to Jerk. You now have a blue wrench. There you go.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and get into some of we'll start off with, the headline news, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and share this right now. And if anything, I know a lot of you guys watch, or I should say follow, Watch a Guru, right? Some people were for Watch a Guru, some aren't. it's kind of hit or miss when it comes to Watcher Guru, right? Let's face it. So this was posted earlier today, and literally, I don't know, this morning, 9:40 a.m. So it says Justin Kevin O'Leary testifies at Senate hearing and says Binance intentionally put FTX out of business. Now, of course, this was yesterday. The reason why I'm showing you this, because there's a little bit more up-to-date news, right, is because it's going to be two particular clips. Again, here at Crypto Talk Now, we do love to do a little bit of the comparing and the contrasting. And if anything, you do see a lot of, let's face it, Twitter war going on. And when it comes to Twitter wars, you know how that can go. And think about this. The original Twitter war that happened between CZ, Sam Bankman-Fried, the disaster that ended up happening, or what unfolded, I should say, with that. But yeah, Kevin O'Leary testified at the Senate hearing and said basically Binance intentionally put FTX out of business. This is 38 seconds. With that said, we'll do immediate follow-up to get CZ's response based off of what Kevin O'Leary mentioned. Here we go.
Why do you believe FTX failed?
I have an opinion. I don't have the records. Here it is. These two behemoths that own the unregulated market together and grew these incredible businesses in terms of growth were at war with each other. And one put the other out of business intentionally. Now, maybe there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe there's nothing wrong with love and war. But Binance is a massive, unregulated global monopoly now. They put FTX out of business.
Why do you believe
All right. We have a reaction for that. Now, of course, I don't know who exactly it was. Maybe it was Tim Shea, maybe it was somebody else, can't remember. But somebody who obviously I follow, who's part of our community, mentioned specifically, yeah, well, the difference is they have the reserves and FTX doesn't. That's a good point. Now, the next one I'm going to show you this is CZ's response to just that, Kevin O'Leary with what he said in regards to the U.S. Senate, in front of the U.S. Senate committee. Let me go ahead and share that. Here it is. This one's only about 30 seconds. Come right back. Here we go.
He says he didn't know that Binance was a shareholder of FTX. So he invested in FTX without looking at the cap table. But he was very specific in the way he counts for a transaction 2 years ago. So that's kind of contradictory. So I think Calvin's a liar. So I think he's lying about a bunch of stuff. So that's his problem. To us, we want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
Do it.
And we're doing it. He says.
All right, before I get your reaction, Larry, and members of our audience and so on, CZ won't even call Kevin O'Leary by his right name. Calvin? Who's he? Calvin Klein from, Back to the Future? Your reaction.
Well, it's starting to look like, I think with Kevin O'Leary, there's a little bit more. I was looking into this offline also. I think there's a little bit more to the story. I think he's a little bit tighter with Sammy than I initially thought. And I think there's a little bit of a war going on, a war of words, really. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see if CZ has any type of skeletons in his closet, or if there's any type of wrongdoing on his part. I hope that there's not. But yeah, I just think that they don't like each other. I don't think that Kevin and Sam like CZ at all. And I think that they're, Kevin's just trying to take some shots at CZ and just trying to really shift the blame. And it's just, we're supposed to talk about FTX, but we're really just, in Kevin's mind, we're just trying to place blame, basically making it look like, well, CZ was the one that took FTX down. So, why isn't he here asking these tough questions? But that's just my initial thing, that I think that, Kevin is going to say certain things to kind of make himself look good. But in a way, I think that he's on Sammy's side a little more than he would care to admit.
I think that's the case too, to be honest. I think we're just seeing a little bit on what's on the surface, if you will. A lot of things are basically unraveling before our very eyes, and it will continue to do so. This is not going to be, open and shut case by any means. Kind of like similar to the whole thing with, let's face it, with Luna and so on. I mean, that wasn't really open and shut. There's a lot of things that have recently been coming out in regards to that. Of course, a lot of tension is more on the likes of, Sam Bankman-Fried, and now this whole thing with trying to fast track regulation and so on. But nonetheless, I mean, Do Kwon, I'm sure he likes not getting all that focus as much. Now, as far as him being in Siberia, I still haven't verified that. And so on. I'd love to hear from the audience in that regard if anybody happens to have any breaking info that just recently happened. I'm literally talking probably like today, but I do see a few more people basically joined us. If Larry wants to get into that, or
let's just shout out a few people here so that we know that you guys are in the house. Brian Dowie is in the house. If I didn't already say hello to you, hello. Mentalek is here, and Eddie T says, Selmo, what's up? Selmo Fudd is here. How about that? Jerk changed his name. Jerk Blue Wrench. This guy's head reminds me of the Martian movie with the glass around their heads. Oh, he's talking about CZ. Okay. But yeah, glad that all you guys could be here to make it. The OGs of OGs of OGs are here. Welcome to everybody that's here. Congratulations to Jerk and Mentalek, the newest recipients of the Blue Wrench.
Very cool. Speaking of which, I'm going to read this particular comment. So for instance, let's actually start with this. So Mentalek, in response to what we just showed, he says, CZ does not understand how many enemies he made when he sank FTX in the manner that he basically did. And I think it's a lot of people recognize that, before all this stuff started, unwinding, if you will. Think of, for instance, how about this, the Luna Classic people and so on, myself, a lot of us, right? Hey, CZ, try to get on board for on burns, off burns when it comes to Luna Classic. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's still obviously going to happen and so on. But there was that time period, if you will, when it comes to, CZ, he's our hero, he's our man. And if no one can do it better than him, then I don't know who can, right? That type of mentality. And if anything, now you're seeing this shift of, oh, maybe you're not the crypto hero. Maybe you are the sinister villain in the background, possibly. Not coming out and saying that officially, right? But yeah, I mean, some of the points that Brian Dowie made a while back, some of the the DMs he sent me and so on, like, be out on the lookout for this particular guy. He if things go south and there's any evidence to show that, I mean, he has something to do with anything, right? I'm not saying that, that's the case, but like we mentioned on our live show before, it would be a perfect case of, like, crypto, it's going to suck for crypto for a while. You know what I mean? Like, as far as getting retail money coming in and so on, maybe still get the institutional money, but if anything, it would just hurt, man. Like, we talked about this before. I think it was with Sean, right? Crypto Smith, shout out to him. It would suck completely, because if anything, that retail money, that adoption, you have a big delay on it. And it's not a big win for crypto in general. We want more of that adoption, to say the least.
Let's say hello to, real quick. Let me just say hello to a couple people here, Max, so we don't leave them out.
No problem.
XXI Gaming says, what's good, everybody? He's at his shorties. He's at his shorties work Christmas party. She's got a Christmas party going on. He's there watching us, having a good time. So thank you for being there. And also, Crypto for Shizzle, my Nizzle McDizzle is here. He says, yo, because that's what he says. And he's saying hello to Selmo Fudd. Michael Montclair says, please subscribe to my channel. I've subscribed to everyone in the chat. Thanks. You guys haven't seen. Let's just show it real quick. We'll plug them real fast here. Stop screen. And then we'll get back to what Max is bringing to us with the good news stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak.
I, of course, want to just, welcome, of course, XXI Gaming as well. Selmo Fudd in the house. Crypto Mike, a.k.a. Mike Cornwell. And anybody else who, I didn't get to mention earlier, Tim Shea, all you guys, Brian Dowie, even the Jerk, right? Mr. Spicoli in the house. And yeah, if I forgot anybody, I apologize. Let's check out Mr. Michael Montclair, and go ahead. Take it away, Larry.
If you guys like to listen to music from one of our own community members here, listen to Michael Montclair. He sounds like Dean Martin or now the name escapes me. Frank Sinatra, of course. So good stuff here. So yeah, Crypto McDizzle is here saying hello to everybody. Max and Larry. Tim Shea says, "Hey Mike, how's Tricks? Jerk, Blue Wrench, Matt, Max, and Larry. You really thin RVN coin is decent. Oh, you think the RVN coin is decent?
Raven coin.
Ravencoin, yeah.
I talked, quite a bit about Raven coin in the past. I still think there's potential there. I don't think it's obviously is, trending as much as, when the whole thing with the Ethereum Classic was coming back up in the news and so on. You got to keep in mind during that time period that we covered a lot of this, it was a perfect case of, all right, well, which cryptos that specialize or bring in that particular audience from, former proof of work miners, if you will, where are they going to go? And we pointed some of that out. Now, again, you don't necessarily have to have the traditional ASIC style miner to hop on that particular blockchain. If you look more into it, when it comes to the likes of Ravencoin and so on, you could do other things. For instance, like you can mine Shiba Inu, which sounds crazy, right? But they have their own mechanism where you don't necessarily have to have an ASIC miner. You can basically mine SHIB in their own way of doing it. And then from there, some people say, well, how's that possible? You can't really do that. Well, here's the thing. You then convert it, right, to Ravencoin, right? And so that becomes more appealing and so on. So as far as it getting the same amount of rewards that you would normally get from the classic, or not classic ETH, as an ETC, but, ETH before it went to the unofficial title 2.0, not quite there, right? So some people recognize that, some people don't. But anyway, yeah, Ravencoin, I think if anything, at these price levels, it's not gonna be too bad going into the bull run, to say the least. And there's gonna be a few other ones too, right, that fit that description as well. So yeah, I'm on board when it comes to Ravencoin. I'm very impressed with what they have going on. And if anything, I think it's a lot of word of mouth as well. Just we need more people basically just making people more aware of it and so on. Back to you, Larry.
All right, cool. Let's just get in a few more of these comments here. Everyone's saying hello to one another, and I want to bring in a couple things. Tim Shea says that Zill game you can also mine with is interesting. Mentalek says anyone with Lobster wallet, it's prudent to convert the main free airdrops to Aqua. Crypto for shizzle, my nizzle, McDizzle. Been buying super low cappers, hoping for the rise in the bull run. Saying hello to everybody here. Mentalek says, anyone picked up Constellation DAG on the dip? Let's see. Jerk says, Larry, thanks for the info. Crypto. That was basically that's funny.
I think I get trolled a little bit.
Larry.
I'm like, I think I trolled a little bit. First of all, my name is Max, not Matt. And then on top of that, I provided the info, but it's okay. We're Crypto Talk now. And that's what it's all about. Anyway.
You see, I just had to.
He is living up to his name. He's kind of being a jerk. No, I'm kidding.
What up? Selmo Fudd says we should be paying you, Mentalek, with the tips that you give us each and every day. So thank you for that kind words. Everybody treating each other nice. Guys, hit the like button so we can expand our community. We'd appreciate it. So what else you got for us, Max? Are you going to do any? Hey, it's been a long time since we had anybody famous on here. We have like, the crypto people. We haven't had any dead presidents, or Mrs. Doubtfire hasn't been here in about a week. And we haven't had any like rug pull Inu developers. It's been we got to kind of spice things up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. All I got to say is no, that was supposed to be my Reagan, but some people say it don't even sound like Reagan. It sounds like Mr. Burns. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into some more of our crypto coverage we have for you guys. So, you know, if you just join us, we basically showed you guys a little bit of a brief, you know, back and forth between Kevin O'Leary and also CZ. On top of that, I do want to show you guys this just here briefly because we gave him a shout out earlier. We might as well go ahead and do that again. And that basically is what you're about to see right here. Hold on a second. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Tim wants us to bring Caroline on here. Do you think we should bring her on?
Miss Brown. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's in regards to Volt. We, as you guys know, we don't cover really a bunch of meme coins or anything like that, but you know, we got a new saying basically around here, which is Volt, the last great meme coin. And of course, Larry did a recent a short review, I guess you could say, a brief review in regards to Volt. No, we're not being paid by Volt or anything like this. This is something that we just basically decided to do on our own. I recognize that particular community because let's face it, I mean, they have, you know, give credit where credit's due. I mean, look at this on your screen. It says you cannot ignore Volt. They are inevitable, to say the least. How it started in 0 exchanges, December 2021. Here we are 1 year later, and it's 99 exchanges, you know, and that is impressive. And especially everything that happened recently with Pablo Crow and the crew basically be on NASDAQ. I mean, you know, you guys want to talk about, even if you're not a fan of meme tokens and so on, right? Crypto adoption, right? Talking to people, for instance, about just that conversation itself. Crypto, I mean, they're definitely doing that. So I give credit where credit is due. I know a lot of you guys are still into, you know, like what Mike pointed out and so on. Not saying that Mike Cornwell's in the vault or anything like that. I don't speak on his behalf. I can't remember if he is or isn't. That's beyond the point. But you mentioned specifically low market cap tokens and so on. I'm in Volt. I do need to maybe get on a Telegram and get my V1 switched over, because if anything, I did follow the tutorial and I haven't had it happen yet, but I'm sure it'll get worked out. And even if it didn't and I had to take the loss, I know it sounds crazy. This doesn't sound great right now, but I would probably still buy a bag of V2, you know, and just have it as a separate bag while the other one gets worked out. But, you know, teach is on. I definitely want to recognize that. And then if anything, I also want to show you guys what we also have on our particular coverage. But before we do so, do you see anything else that kind of stood out before we get more into this? Yeah.
Big shout out to the Big Watch Dude is here. He's in the house now. So thank you for being here, Big Watch Dude.
Well, good to have you, Big Watch Dude. Yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get into the XRP news for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and present that in a way that you can, of course, hear it. You guys are, of course, familiar or should be with this particular guy. Some people are fans of him, some people aren't. Nonetheless, he is the CEO over at 3T Warriors Academy. He is Coach JV. That's a big community. They're primarily focused on the ISOs, right? And they have about 100,000 subscribers and so on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, part of that mix also is Crypto Lulu and so on. But it says this will never happen again in our living history. Most will miss it. This is about 3 minutes. And then, of course, we'll kick it back into the comments to see you guys' particular reactions and so on. But listen to what he has to say in regards to what is basically happening or unfolding before our very eyes. And then we'll come back.
Most people are going to miss the biggest shift in generational wealth in our living history. This will not happen again. Will not happen again in our life or our kids' life. This is a shift from industrial to technical, Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Now listen, this is really important as everybody looks this way at the FTX collapse. All over the news, it's flooding people out of the word crypto. There's a big difference between crypto and blockchain, okay? Hear me out. What they're doing with FTX is they're making everybody think crypto in one category is a fraud. That if you get into crypto, you're going to lose all your money. But blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, on-demand liquidity, chat GPT, AI, gas, solar, wind are literally the future of our economy. Now, if you're watching this far, I'm going to share with you the new 1%. So the old paradigm, industrial, is gas, oil. The new 1% will be data, software, information, and attention. So let me show you what's happening. As you look this way at a problem, reaction, solution, here's what's happening behind the scenes. Now, again, this stuff is not sexy or exciting, but I'm going to show you what the central banks are doing, and I'm going to show you what I believe is going to happen and how they're going to bridge all this. So as FTX goes down, you need to pay attention to Project mBridge, connecting economies through central bank digital currencies. Here's the roadmap. They've been working on it since 2017. I thought blockchain technology and distributed ledger technology and on-demand liquidity was a fraud because they say crypto's a fraud, but that's crypto. So 2017, it comes all the way to 2022. Ironically, we're having some of the biggest distractions, Celsius, stablecoin collapse, FTX collapse, as they're switching your monetary system to a blockchain technology. Now people panic because like, oh, what about Ripple and things like that? Guys, look at, there's about 53 central banks underneath the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. I shared with you, you need to follow them: World Economic Forum, World Bank, and IMF. Let me give you a perspective. This is how many central banks there actually are. Look at this. All these central banks will have CBDCs, and they need a bridge of liquidity for all these central bank digital currencies. It's not by chance that they threw out a case against Ripple, the most well-run cryptocurrency company that actually has the solve for CBDCs and the liquidity bridge right now to move velocity of money much faster. If you know the game, you can't be played. Warriors!
All right. So shout out to Coach JV of the 3T Warriors Academy. They just, I think that's one of the most standout communities in all of crypto when it comes to the ISOs, personally. But
Max,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. What does he say in the end? Warriors, what now?
he always says, "Warriors, rise, get your together."
Okay.
Yeah, I was cut
All
off
right,
of that
cool.
because I know we try to
That's
keep
a
it
little
family friendly.
slogan. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, I know he's kind of out there too, but I think overall he's a good person. He tries to create more awareness, and he also brings a lot of education, and he's been into the likes of, for instance, XRP and some of these other ISOs for at least, I would say, at least maybe 2 to 3 years or more. So yeah, he brings a lot to the table. He's very passionate with what he gathers and explains and so on. And yeah, I mean, his network alone with Crypto Lulu is obviously like probably one of his biggest stars. They got a lot going on over there, and I give credit where credit's due. So yeah, shout out to him. Let's kick it back to our coverage. But before we do so, let's go ahead and recognize some more people in the chat.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of beautiful people here. It says 22. That's a beautiful number. 22 beautiful people are here. Let's say hello to everybody here that we're going to get them to ring in on the comments here. Brian Dowie says, oh, wait. Tim Shea says, when is the closing? The closing is Monday for my small building. So I'll get into ALBT and the rest of the ISOs probably Tuesday after everything settles, when the money clears. Brian Dowie, regulators, mount up. Get your crap together. Mentalek says, anyone focused on SBF should ask themselves a question. If the news is focusing retail towards SBF, what don't the elites want us focused on? Good question. And Mentalek again says, Coach JV is one of my favorite content creators. Blue Beast 9, not to be confused with Blue Beast 7, 8, or 4 or 5, but Blue Beast 9. Is crypto crashing or what? And also, somebody else is here, Profit.
I remember Profit, yeah.
Basel 3 BSI calendar. Cody Core is back. Max and Larry, what is up? Thank you for being here. Blue Beast 9, I haven't seen you here before, but you've seen Profit before?
Yeah, I remember seeing Profit. I mean, I remember mentioning, to go ahead and change his avatar to something that speaks more about who he is and what he's about. But I mean, that name Profit, definitely remember you. Glad to have you here back. And then I'm also going to go ahead and welcome you as well, Blue Beast 9. Thank you for having a custom avatar and so on. I will answer this particular question. That's why we had in our thumbnail, and that is, the crash. Basically, it's not like a monumental crash or anything like that, but I mean, earlier today it just seemed like it was, if anything, somewhat of a crash and whatnot. And if anything, we do cover here just that, some of these particular ones. We have other shows in which, for instance, the title might be was it Thursday Night Lights or Friday Night Lights and stuff like that, red and green, referring to what's going on with the market or just the market in general. But yeah, I would say overall we do have a little bit of a crash.
Mentalek says Basel 3 is now Basel 4 since 3 was never implemented. Blue Beast 9. This is my first time here. Got a link from my dad, to be honest. All right, cool. Well, thank your dad for us. Cody Core, crypto is cracking. Give all you got to me that you don't want. All right.
Yeah, curious to see who your dad is, or if he's a fan from either just watching the live shows, or if it's from the recording and so on. But yeah, shout out to Cody Core. You've been watching this from literally day one. Summer Flood, same with you. We haven't forgot about you guys and so on, and as well as everybody else is here. Mentalect, Tim Shea, a lot of you guys are in house. Brian Dow, you name it. Thank you so much for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. I do like this comment. Big Wash Dude says, I like your roundtable format. I hope you keep it going. We are. You want to go ahead and elaborate on that for a bit, Larry? Yeah.
Yep. So I think we're off to a good start. It was only our second roundtable. It's going to be upfront with you guys. It's going to be a little bit challenging the more people we get on there, because let's just face it, all of the content creators like to talk for the most part, right? Or you wouldn't be doing content. So I think it's going to be my task to kind of balance everybody out so that we get everybody involved in the spirit of the conversation, and that, we have a good balance. And also we have to try to remember to bring in the audience. So it's going to be challenging, but bear with us. I think the show will get better every week, but thank you for the compliment there and encouragement. Blue Beast 9. Cool. Thanks for taking the time to answer that. Profit.
You're very welcome.
Basel 3. Transitional arrangements 2017 to 2028.
Well, how about this? Yeah, you're very welcome. Again, how about this? Also, thank you for even just taking the time to be here and so on. And, thank you for also, I think you believe that, right here it is, your dad, so shout out to your dad. How about that? We are going to go ahead and get more into our particular coverage, unless there's anything else you wanted to elaborate a little bit more on in regards to the roundtable and so on, Larry.
I just think, any type of suggestions you guys have, if you want to drop them in the comments, and if there's anything you want to talk about while we're doing the show, what we really could use your help on is getting some more comments, even on this show, because right now we have 20 people. We would love to get that number to 40 to 50 consistently. Now on Twitter, we're really doing well. We've got 100, 150 people, sometimes 200 people watching on Twitter. So we're doing good there. And then Max, let's just do a little program update. We're going to be available on Twitter Spaces very, very soon. Max, just tell people when, or just describe a little bit about what we're going to do in terms of how we're going to have this show on the Twitter Space.
So bottom line is, as you guys know, when it comes to the Twitter Spaces, you have to do it with your phone and so on. And, like for instance, my location where I have my computer set up and so on, I just don't want to be, I don't know, like there's just a lot of, like here in Phoenix, especially, right? A lot of our homes and so on, it's a lot of bricks, right? I'll just be honest. And so this particular area of the house and so on, it can get kind of patchy. So when I'm plugged in with you guys right now, I'm on a dedicated hardline connection, and guys that are content creators like ourselves and so on, we basically need to be like, that's like one of those rules, if you will. Like if you're doing a live stream, you should, if you can, be on a hardline connection. So I came up with some, like a method, if you will, to be able to bring like a dedicated hardline connection instead of having it just on the regular mobile, if you will, with my phone. We're in the testing phase of basically getting this going, but the plan is to be able to simulcast our actual live show. And this is not just something being like speculative and so on, like, oh, this is going to happen in a few months. No, this is literally something that I'm hoping to accomplish within the next few days, for real. And so Larry and I are going to test this, probably do like a test Twitter Space, if you will, and then see how well it works with StreamYard, again, with the software and so on. But the goal will be to have it dedicated. And if anything, like for instance, like we see patches Well, he's on the feed right now. I guess he went away.
He went to go
Okay.
eat.
Oh, okay. So you would see something like this in which maybe like we'll have a dedicated window for the Twitter space, and then if anything, whether it's like my Twitter account, you will see, for instance, not where it's a distraction, but like I can make sure something like, and live from Twitter space, we have, this particular person. So kind of like the concept that Larry mentioned many months ago, especially for you hardcore guys that have been around and been, following us for a while, where he mentioned, we want to have a method where it's like the old school radio shows. A guy calls on literally on the phone, and you go insane, thank you so much for joining us at 6:20 a.m. radio live with Larry. This is Bill Wexley calling in from Cleveland, Ohio. Bill, thank you for joining us today. You're on blast. Go ahead. And the guy says whatever, right? Same kind of concept to a sense. But again, if you're familiar with Twitter spaces, that's basically it. So really looking forward to being able to provide that type of element to our show. And if anything, it'll definitely help grow our community more, because then people maybe from Twitter space will recognize, hey, this is pretty cool. I might want to just go straight over to YouTube, vice versa, or maybe it just ends up being both. But either way, it's a win all the way around, because it creates more of that interaction, and we want more of that social engagement, and also providing great, questions and comments and so on to the community. So there you have it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Max. I'll just chime in with two things, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying. So the first thing is, I think that the way that we our show evolved, it's really like a talk show. So it's like a crypto talk show, right? It could be instead of Crypto Talk Now, it could be known as Crypto Talk Show, really, almost. So I think that a call-in traditional type of talk show would be really, really a cool thing. I would think it would fit well with our style. And I think that Twitter Spaces will give us some sense of that. The other thing I want to say is I think that we're both very excited about Twitter. We had a great conversation with Waddy and Daniel offline last night. And I think that Twitter, not just Twitter Spaces, but Twitter in general, is going to be more appealing to content creators. And also, remember, Elon Musk is a big crypto guy. So I think that you're going to see us get to the next level because of Twitter as content creators and as a network. So we're excited about that. Let's say hello to 3 people in here. Selma Fudd says, the roundtable, you only pick out comments that you choose. A lot of my comments are skipped. That's cool. Yeah, that's like the thing that I always beat myself up about. I want to read all the comments. And with the roundtable, that's why I said, guys, bear with us. It's going to be very, very challenging. So imagine we had 5 people. Now, next week, we might have 6 or 7 people on there. So it's going to be me having to balance out everybody to make sure that they all get a chance to talk. And then also I got to make sure that I bring in certain comments. I don't think we'll have the time to read every single comment with a roundtable discussion, but it's not because we don't care about you. It's just that it's the nature of the beast when it comes to the roundtable. There's just so many voices. We want to make sure the audience still gets heard, but we won't be able to read every single comment, unfortunately, in the roundtable format. Gotcha Girl is here. Congratulations for being here for the first time in the comments. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone give Gotcha Girl a warm welcome. CTN welcome. I'm just waiting and watching whatever is going on now in the market. It doesn't change our interoperability. Quant, hurrah.
Hey, thank you so much, Gotcha Girl, for being here. I see you mentioned Quant. That's awesome that you're into Quant and so on. Just again, it kind of helps with our particular feedback and so on. So did you come from the recorded video section, or do you just happen to see this? Kind of like, for instance, I'll give this guy a shout out. I don't know if he's here tonight. He goes by the name of Me, Myself, and I, where he just simply types in hashtag ISO 222 or a search, and our show comes up. I would be really interested to see what is the case in that regard. But again, thank you so much for joining us here. We do talk about Quant quite often, and especially in the recorded video section. But guys, gals, everyone who's here, let's give Gotcha Girl a CTN warm welcome. Any questions, comments, whether it's about Quant, some of the other ISOs, whatever the case be, feel free to ask it, comment on everything or anything. We have a very welcoming community.
Gotcha Girl. XXI Gaming is down with it. Daniel, don't call me. Carlos Delgado is in the house. Good evening, Larry and Max.
Good to see you, Daniel.
Mentalex says Quant's Pentagon connection has been getting some attention.
Yes, that was my hour, I should say, top performing recorded video. I think we got something like 35 subscribers off that one alone. Close to 2,000 views on it for the size of our channel. Those are really good numbers. So thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's go ahead and get back into our particular coverage that we have for you guys here at CTN. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit more in regards to XRP news, to say the least. So, for instance, and of course, shout out to Crypto Lulu. We do cover him quite a bit. Again, another member of the 3T Warriors Academy. Or he's just, part of their community, family, and so on. So there's this right here. And, this is something that, let's face it, it does get brought up a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but I like how Lulu basically pointed out in these worst case scenarios and whatnot. This is only a minute and a half, but here at CTN, we want to give all perspectives. It's not just hype of like XRP and this is what they're going to solve with on-demand liquidity and all that, right? A lot of us already get that, but let's face it, a lot of times you got to prepare for the future. A lot of times when content creators, for instance, shill this particular token or this particular coin and so on, that all sounds great, right? We all want our gravy in the future, but what about exit plans? So let's check out this particular perspective and this particular scenario if it was going to unfold in the future. Minute and a half, and then we'll come back.
This is the worst case scenario. We want to hold onto our assets, but in the eventuality that this does become a reality, Jimmy Valley, the Valhalla Capital Group, and us in that confidential committee want to make sure that the XRP army, the XRP community, everyone here gets the absolute most realistic buyback price possible. So one of the big things I was getting on Twitter all over the place was, how come you said you're never going to sell? Now you're part of this buyback thing. And what I want to make sure is crystal clear on here, my stance still is plan A1 is to stake the XRP or utilize it for an interest. I don't want to let go of a single XRP. That's still the case. And for me, honestly, being part of this group, there's some amazing people, some extremely smart people in this committee that I can't even believe I'm a part of it as well. They do, and I do, have the absolute best intentions for the XRP army when we're talking in this group about the proposal with Jimmy and Valhalla Capital. We have to understand in the XRP army that anything can happen. The court case can do anything it wants to do, basically. Jeremy Hogan, who it's absolutely sad to see go off YouTube now, made his last video and his predictions about where he thinks the SEC court case is going to go. And I bet with all of you, you are hoping for a lower percentage chance that the SEC would win that court case. So acknowledging that, even just from the legal standpoint, it seems like anything can absolutely happen.
Right. Anything absolutely can happen, but he at least addresses the whole concept of what could happen with a buyback. Now, a little bit more in regards to just that, the specific buyback and so on. He did elaborate a little bit more in regards to that. It's not a really long clip. That one was only a minute and a half, and we do like to do roughly the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. Check this out for yourself right here. Like he says, what people don't understand about the XRP buyback proposal. This is about, again, a minute and a half. And then after that, we will jump back into the comments. Here we go.
Recently, I tweeted about being on this secret confidential committee as part of Valhalla Capital's new proposal in the eventuality of a government buyback. Now, Valhalla Capital and Jimmy Valley released an earlier version of this proposal and put XRP's value at $50,000 per XRP, suggesting that every XRP, based on the value of the entire Earth at that point, would create a $50,000 XRP. And so what Jimmy Valley and the team at Valhalla Capital have done this time is essentially made a second proposal, because the first one obviously wasn't successful. But the second proposal now accounts for a new world value, which when you think about over the last kind of couple of years and the printing of money, the value of the Earth, the amount of debt on Earth, all of that kind of stuff adds up or piles up. And this committee has been formed to create essentially a group of people who have their ears very close to the ground with how everyone's feeling in order to best inform this proposal to have its best chance at making an impact with the powers that be. And what most people don't realize is that this proposal is on the side of the XRP army. This is in the eventuality that XRP is deemed an ESDR and the government actually force a buyback where they force you to sell your XRP for a certain value. Jimmy Valley and Valhill Capital and this confidential committee are basically in charge of informing the best possible outcome in that bad outcome situation. And I'm saying the bad outcome situation is that we do have to sell our XRP so it can be used as an ESDR.
Yeah. So, that was pretty, I guess you could say, hot news to say the least, right? So, when I saw that, it's like, I got to share this, got to mention on the live. I also will include it in part of our recorded, so be on a lookout for that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kick it back into our comments. And again, shout out to Crypto Lulu for always doing a great job with his passionate coverage of XRP and the ISOs.
Thank you, Max. 24 beautiful people in here. If you would hit the like button, appreciate it. Daniel, don't call me Carlos Delgado. If you do decide to do a show, I would like to scan and pitch you a theme beat. Oh, maybe he can make us a theme song, I think is what he's saying. That would be great. We would love for you to do that. In fact, I'm going to put our Twitter account up on here. It is up here. Okay, so you can message both myself and Max. If you can't get through to me, there's a setting I still have to figure out how to change. But Crypto Talk Now 21 is myself, and Max is DPG, Dog Pound Gaming. Maximus as well. Message us. We would love for you to make us a theme song. That would be great. We need one. Let's see. And then let's keep going on. Mentalek says Crypto Lulu is becoming an excellent crypto researcher.
I would say he really is. I mean, he's huge, man. I mean, a lot of you guys, for instance, you follow certain content creators like the likes of Classy Crypto and other guys and so on that cover like the likes of Luna Classic and a few other ones. When it comes to the ISOs, literally he's like, as Larry doesn't like me to refer to it, top influencer when it comes to ISOs. Yeah. So yeah, Lulu I have tons of respect for him.
This one I had to look up. I don't think anything's happened to Joe Rogan, but let us know. And thank you for being here, J Rap. The Crypto Smith, Sean is here. It says, "What's up, boys?"
Hey, Sean. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Sean. Mentalek, Valhill Capital's proposal sets XRP price floor, is now using updated info on the derivatives and debt markets. Craig Connor, I now have one quant. So happy. I will sell my XRP for $15K each. Let me know.
Hey, Craig Connor, right on, man. Guys, that's the thing, right? For instance, you saw, Michael Montclair, he was mentioning his particular goals when it came to his quant or some of his holdings when it comes to XRP. It's not about like who has, the least or the most and so on. It's just making an entry, right? So, one quant, some of the people have more than that. So on. That's not the point. The point is you have your own goals and you achieve that. You now have one, let's face it, it sounds like a full quant, and that is awesome. I've said to people in the past, it's not recognizing that quant is too expensive. That's something that got brought up in the past, even with some of my own personal friends, right? They're like, man, I'm not going to buy a full quant. I think at the time it was like, $150. Obviously it's a lot less than that, like roughly 120 and so on. They're like, I'm going to wait for it to come down to, $100 to purchase, a full one. That's a typical thing. Okay. Buy half a quant and then DCA into it until you get a full one. So on. So shout out to you, Craig, who you have one full quant. You're so happy. And of course, me personally, I'm not selling my XRP. I'm going to earn interest of that. We always talk about don't marry your crypto. That's the exception. I'm going to probably marry my XRP and earn interest off of it. But thanks for pointing that out, Craig. Thank you for joining us again here at CTN.
Mentalek, Crypto Lulu is great, but he admits he is a work in progress on his info.
Yeah, none of us are perfect. I mean, even us, it was the whole thing yesterday about, being amateurs and stuff like that. Are you kidding me? None of us said that we were pro. If anything, one of the things is our journey, right? a lot of us are still figuring out. I mean, think about how early we are when it comes to a lot of these projects. And if anything, even if I was an old man, I don't know, 80, 90 years old and so on, and I still have all my wires up there and so on working okay, hopefully, I would still be learning new information. So there you have it.
Like everyone should target 10 quant. Quant is going to be 6 digits. I'm not selling XRP, XDC, XLM, Quant, or Algorand.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Yeah, thank you, Menelek, for pointing some of that out. You always have great, snippets, tweets, and so on. I do like some of Fudd's comment that he said earlier about you and so on. Maybe, we should give you some, like a tip or something like that. But shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for being here pretty much for the most part, like on a daily. And everybody else who has been supported us for the longest time and whatnot, we all do appreciate you. I want to show you guys a little bit more in regards to our particular coverage that we have tonight for you. So how about this, all right? We're always learning. We were talking about earlier about just that, learning and so on. So, I know it's a lot of crypto Lulu tonight and so on, but for the reasons of what we got going on, there's a reason for it. So check this out. He says he's wrong about how ISO 222 works. If you did watch, for instance, the recorded, then it's kind of like a refresher. But I also want to respect some of our viewers and listeners and so on. And that is, there's a few different audiences. There's ones that are strictly on the record. There's ones that are strictly on the live, and there's some that are both, which is cool. So he says he was wrong about how ISO 222 works. Now it's kind of sarcastic, but if anything, it's very educational to say the least. It's going to give you another perspective of how the messaging bus works. So check this out. Minute 20 seconds, and we'll come back here in a bit.
I was wrong. I was completely wrong. The messaging bus is only the beginning of the information of the ISO message information retrieval process. There is more. The messaging bus is simply the vessel for the information, not the creator of the information itself. What I had failed to explore was the journey the information has to take before it even gets to the messaging bus, which all takes place in the token database. And not only did I discover that I was just scratching the surface of all of this ISO stuff, but I also realized there's a whole other ISO standard, multiple ISO standards that I'd never paid attention to. And here's the first one, ISO 24165. This, I believe, is the digital token identifier. And that standard is the structure and the logic behind the codes given to countries, currencies, and assets, specifically looking at the financial world. And again, if you want someone who's in tech to deliver this message, please go over and see T's Crypto Spot. He's talked about this at long length. So if there's an entity that is deciding how these codes work and how the codes are distributed, the format that all of that structure is created under, this could be very revealing as to which tokens in the cryptocurrency space are actually going to be used for payments and which ones, simply by the 3 letters that they were given upon their inception, would actually not make the cut.
All right. So instead of kicking it right back immediately into the comments, I do need to do a follow-up based on what you just saw right there. It's going to be here shortly on your screen. It's going to elaborate a little bit more in regards to just that. Give me just a second to pull it up. But if anything, it's a little bit more in regards to this topic of ISO 222 and, the messaging and so on. Some of these, particular abbreviations, to say the least. And it's in regards to ETH. Yeah, you're like ISO 222 and ETH. Max, why do you mention that? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Listen to what he's going to say, Crypto Lulu, in regards to addressing the ETH issue. And like you see right here, it says, why ETH is bound to fail. No, I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree with that. But as far as the messaging standard, there could be an issue. Now, of course, Vitalik and the rest of his devs and so on, right? They can hopefully fix this, right? But it kind of makes you think, this could be a looming issue that could unravel in the future, right? Certain types of possibilities. This is a minute 14, and then we will definitely come back for some comments and so on. Here we go.
Assets that are used for cross-border payments or have cross-border utility must have an X in the first slot of the 3 letters. Of course, XRP, XLM, and XDC are all in the clear at this point because there's no other codes that match those ones. But there is one asset that's going to have a real hard time, especially if they're going to be used for doing payments across the world. And that example is Ethereum. ETH is already being used by Ethiopia as their country code under ISO 3166. That's crazy, right? Ethereum literally technically cannot be used in this manner, and it can't be registered in the digital token identifier as ETH. Now, whether they can actually change their code to be something else that's not registered, I actually don't know that system, so maybe that's a possibility. XRP, XLM, and XDC have no interferences with any other code. They also already start with an X for cross-border, and as a result, they will fit perfectly into that digital token identifier process, and there'll be seamless retrieval of those tokens to deliver through the internet into the messaging bus and then onto the recipient banks via the ISO 222 message.
All right, so that was a really great breakdown. We'll kick it back into the last part of that in a little bit later. But what I want to basically mention is a little bit of reflection on what he just said. So, you know, for me personally, it's not official or anything like that, but it kind of makes sense that these guys from these particular 3 products, right, not exactly projects, maybe recognize that it would be cool to do this a long time ago, right, with these abbreviations. So, you know, XRP, right, again, X, the cross-border, X as in, then the RP as in Ripple. So cross-border payments, Ripple, XRP. Then you have, for instance, XLM, right, cross-border, LM as in lumens. That kind of makes sense. And then the other one, which is also unofficial, but I like this, right? So X, right? And then DC as in, you know, digital currency, cross-border digital currency. It's not official, but I like that. So let's go ahead and kick it back into the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoying the content that we're providing you guys tonight, because at the end of the day, I don't really consider us influencers, more like content creators and so on, but it's what comes with the territory. So did you see any other new questions in the meantime?
I actually stumbled into something good coming up soon here, but first let's just bring the Crypto Smith. I think Quant will be one of the first tokens available on MetaMonkey's Pure Wallet. That's interesting news. This is the one that I stumbled this is the one that I stumbled into, Max, right here. I'm going to share my screen on something because of this comment, and this is something that we're going to look into. I want to look into this actually tonight. I have heard of this before, but I never really checked it out. So Prophet, thank you for this. He is saying that Rumble video is popping off some useful info over there. Another upload point for people. Now, I'm just going to make this announcement right now. Because of you, Prophet, we're going to look into this, and more than likely we're going to start uploading our videos here because I have it on my list to check out Rumble, and I didn't spend time doing it. But I see that George is on there, and he's got 53,000 views with this video right here. And, of course, BitBoy Crypto's on there. So if George is on there, it's good enough for us. Yeah, this is good stuff. So this is like another sort of like a YouTube platform, I'm guessing. I don't know much about it, but I have heard of it. It is on my list to investigate as far as getting our content out there. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. Are you familiar with Rumble, Max?
I heard of it. I just never been on it to, you know, take more of a deeper dive. But I mean, obviously, I mean, like with some of those views and so on, I mean, if anything, you know, we definitely want to, like Larry mentioned it before in the past, not just be, we don't want to just be YouTubers. We want to be a lot more than just that. We want to, get our brand and so on, right, on multiple platforms. And if anything, it helps not just us, but, our community as well, because it creates more awareness and it's just a win-win. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Cody Core, and then everyone's saying hello. Tim Shea, these Trump NFTs are ridiculous. I did bring that news to you a little bit on a short, but I did not look closely at the NFTs. I saw a couple pictures of them, but I'll have to look a little closer. Let's see, XXI Gaming. Max, don't sleep on MetaMonkey AI, bro. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's not that I'm, what's that? Oh, Tim, respawn. Yeah.
Oh, Max isn't it? Oh, he wants to know if you're in MetaMonkey, I think.
No, I'm not currently in MetaMonkey. But it is something in which I'm, like I mentioned in the past, I'm considering and so on. It's just for me at this point right now, especially with having about 50 in my portfolio, right? Really diversified. I know some of you guys got like 100, which is like shout out to you guys. I mean, for keeping track of all that. Like a lot of times, you know, with whether you're using CMC or whatever portfolio tool that you use and so on, it can be kind of difficult to a sense to just keep track of it all and so on. But my thing is I'm at the point where I want to be the maximum reward, and that's why a lot of times I put more of the focus on like the ISOs. So I'm looking at it literally from perspective of, you know, and this is not me like bashing MetaMonkey or, you know, some of these other ones like Tectonic. Like I may very well pick up a bag of Tectonic. I've talked about in the past. I mean, I got into VVS. Why wouldn't I get into Tectonic, right? But I'm looking at it from the perspective of, all right, yeah, some of these it'd be great. You know, I could see these 10xing in a bull run, but the same amount of money I could be putting into some of those, I could be putting it personally into building even that much more of a bag towards some of these ISOs, whether it's XRP, XLM, XDC, you know, you get what I'm saying, quant especially. And I'm looking at that particular rate of return being significantly higher. And that, again, I'm not trying to disrespect any project or anything. That's just for me personally. That's not me telling you what you guys got to do and so on. For me, you know, 2021, don't get me wrong, right? You know, turning 10K and 120K, for some people, that's, I guess you could say, life change. For me, that wasn't quite life changing to the point where this is going to set me up for the rest of my life. It's been life changing, I guess you could say, for that year, right? Don't get me wrong. Never made that kind of money before and since. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective that for my goals, my own personal goals, which is, I think if you guys have been following me for a while, it's in regards to gaming, right? Like my dream is always to been able to create my very own video game. I have met with the likes of not necessarily like you know, the actual people from Shark Tank like Kevin O'Leary, but similar type of panels, the venture panels that basically they're, you know, I'm gonna be honest and blunt, they're very greedy, very, very greedy. And if anything, yeah, was it flattering and nice to get approved for, you know, bring my business plan and show them, hey, this is what we got going on. This is, you know, what I'm wanting to achieve with my game. Okay, great. Show me the numbers, show them all that stuff. Looks great. And then from them coming back to me and saying, hey, you know what? We're going to approve you, but we want 85% of the profits. Oh, God. And then on top of that, I give Epic Games, who makes the Unreal Engine 5, for instance, a 5% royalty at the top. That leaves me 10% to divide among my development team. When we broke it down, it came out to be less than McDonald's wages. This is what I'm talking about. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do it on my, I'm going to raise the money myself, or maybe crowdsourcing or something, but I'm not going to write these particular contracts. And then being a school teacher and so on, you know, we don't make that much money, let's face it. Crypto, when I got more into crypto, I said to myself, you know what? That is going to be what will get me to back to what my original dream is and so on. So again, for me personally, that's where it's at. I'm looking at it from the perspective of there's nothing wrong with wanting to turn $1,000 into 10,000. We all want to do that all day long. Don't get me wrong. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of that reward return. I think it's a lot more monumental for me personally to go about the way I have been. So it is what it is.
Cody Core said he asked us months ago to go on Rumble. So thank you for that. I guess it didn't register with us at the time, but we definitely are going to look into it. Prophet says, right on, guys. It's great so far, uncensored. Well, I'm sure at some point they'll start censoring it. I mean, maybe that's just me being cynical, but that's good that they're not censoring it right now. But that's good. It's picking up steam. Let's see, everyone say hello to each other. Prophet said he bought a Trump card today. All right. Well, he bought some Trump NFTs, or one of them. XXI Gaming Max. That's dope. I wish I had 50 projects. I understand that, Max.
Well, thanks. It's a lot of getting wrecked too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, a lot of it that at the beginning of the year, I decided I'm gonna take a big chunk of this. I guess I would just give you guys a heads up. I mean, and this is not me advising you do it. It was about 52K, right? Reinvested back into crypto right around the beginning of the year. Are you kidding me? Like, things were kind of going the other direction. The only one I was profitable, for the record, this year in my portfolio was VGX. You know, basically when I got in at 40 cents, Larry got me beat. He came in at, I think, 37 cents, but I decided to take profits on that one. You know, when I exchanged it for, what was it, $1.04, $1.08, can't remember the exact amount. But then I swapped it to Luna Classic. So technically speaking, I didn't really took my profits and swapped it for something else. You know, that's not a true cash out. But yeah, thank you, XXI. You know, just, you know, it doesn't matter if it's me with 50 or if it's you. Let's say, for instance, you have 5, 10, or the next guy that's watching here with 3, whatever the case be. Know what you have invested in. Hopefully you've done more of your own research and so on. And if you're passionate about your particular projects and so on, like whether it's you guys with, you know, MetaMonkey, or, you know, like for instance, we talk about Volt, you know, you guys know my stance when it comes to meme tokens and so on. I am probably going to get into Volt. Now you may be wondering, you know, like for instance, you know, why not MetaMonkey and so on. There's always going to be some great opportunities out there and so on. But again, it's also from the perspective of, like, I'm looking at from a Shiba Inu investor background, if you will. SHIB was the standout number one for my portfolio last year. You guys know the story, 8K into 88K. All right. So I'm also looking at it from the perspective, this literally, like I actually told Larry this originally, you know, he did a video about this, and that was, I got to give credit where credit's due. This community is huge. They're trending like crazy. You have a wave of these guys coming in. I'm looking at it just from the perspective of viewers. I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, this is something I'll probably get into because I see the numbers potentially being like up there with SHIB to a sense. I do believe that they are, you know, I guess you could say the last great meme coin and so on. And I believe it was one of the last meme coins I invested in 2022 at the beginning of this year, back when it was a V1. Because I did see a lot of potential in that regard. And for the record, I did cover Volt Inu over on MaximusCrypto long before I joined up with Larry, and I did get some subscribers from it. So I think I did maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos back on there. So I did believe in it long before I joined up here at Crypto Talk Now with Larry. But nonetheless, thank you for pointing out some of that. I don't want to keep talking about it and so on, but that's just my own stance. And we all have our own stance when it comes to our portfolio and our investments and what we do with it and where it goes, the delegation. So thank you.
Oh, let's just go through the comments and then we'll start wrapping things up here. We've had a good show. Tim Shea, Profit, the number of them is a head scratcher. I see some have sold for less than mint and some more. That's interesting. If the prices are that low, and there is a lot of them, 45,000 Trump NFTs. Profit says some cards have rare attributes. Some may just bought. Many tried to get the one-of-ones and signed editions. Crypto Smith, Max, you will see your dream though. I know it. Keep on working towards it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I will state this much. I mean, there's a particular game. I don't know if you guys have ever played it. Maybe, probably not. It's called Hogs of War. I'll just say that much. Look into it for yourself. My dream is to create a game similar to that, but with my own spin on it. But check it out for yourself. Maybe look up an old trailer for it. Came out for the PlayStation 1. Yeah, PSX. Back in the year 2000, and it was also on PC. It's my all-time favorite game, and I would love to create that type of theme. It's a 3D turn-based strategy game, and for those who are hardcore fans, there's like a cult following, if you will. Like when I have friends come over and so on, we game it up on that, man, on that old game. We do retro gaming and we game it up on that, and it's got some of the most amazing replay. And shout out to rest in peace to this particular guy, Rick Mile from Bottom and the Young Ones from the UK. He passed away a few years ago, but he provided the voiceovers for the characters in Hogs of War. So my thing is, we're in a very saturated market when it comes to gaming. There's so many different first-person shooters and so on. When it comes to 3D turn-based strategy games, they're not even a dime a dozen. Literally, they're needles in a haystack. So I'll leave it with that. Thank you, though, Sean. I really appreciate that, man.
XXI Gaming, can't wait till your game drops, Max.
Yeah, you could come on and do a live with me, man. We always want to do it anyway, right? You could come on. We need to do some Madden or something like that you mentioned. Maybe NBA 2K or whatever, man. I still say we got to do it. and I look forward to it. I mean that.
Profit tokenization will be madness. Books, art, real estate. That's true. A lot of things are going to be tokenized into NFTs, smart NFTs with utility. XXI gaming. Yeah, I feel you on that. But Max, that V1 to V2 doesn't, since a lot of people got burned on Volt and a lot of people don't speak on that enough in the community, but I don't know about Volt. I just got to do some more research on it, but it's a good play for some people.
I'm just looking
we'll-
at it from the community perspective. I mean, you know, again, Shiba Inu really stood out for last year. Really, really stood out, right? And then when it comes with Volt, I mean, I see that maybe they don't hit the numbers of SHIB, because let's face it, I mean, SHIB is still like, you know, like I mentioned, the Coke and Pepsi of crypto out there with Dogecoin. I'm more of a fan of SHIB than Dogecoin. You know, I hold both. I still hold both. But if anything, I look at it from the perspective of a lot of like how you guys look at some of, like, you know, the Elon token, Doja Mars, and so on. Powerful communities. And to me, the Volt community is definitely trending a heck of a lot more than the Doja Mars. I wish Doja and Mars would have as much of a passionate community or trend more, I should say. I'm not saying that they're not passionate, but trend like the Volt army and so on, because I mean, that's what excites me when it comes to Volt, because if anything, again, we're preparing for that darn bull market. It's like, oh God, will it ever come here? Yeah, it will. And so I see that being a thing. There's one thing about having community, and there's one thing about not having any community and no utility. Well, community definitely stands out for Volt, big time.
Crypto Smith says, you guys have a good night. Thank you. Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Prophet says, big Hedera fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a review on Hedera. I'm not gonna have a specific date on it and so on. I'm gonna do a proper deep dive on it. So for you guys that are, you know, fans of our quant coverage here at CTM, be out on the lookout for that in particular. We may do algo in the future as well. Not necessarily saying that we're going to cover all of them and whatnot, but you know, there's a few that are definitely between Larry and I that we're thinking about doing. Yeah, but how about this? Shout out to Larry, right? He covered ALBT. Also, shout out to Tim Shea for, you know, turn us on to just that. I mean, I've known about ALBT in the past and so on, but you know, when you mentioned Tim specifically, when it came to ALBT being like, you know, the concept of quant to a sense, but like is as you would say, a younger cousin, if you will, with a smaller market cap and so on. That was a good analogy, you know what I mean? And we've between Larry and I think we've seen people who hold quant, whether if they hold a full quant or if it's a big, you know, part of their portfolio. A lot of them also, just like yourself, they have ALBT as part of their portfolio. So we do appreciate that. Larry did well on that. We got quite a few subscribers on that, decent amount of views and so on, even on the short update he did and so on. But yeah, guys, before we close things out, can't thank you guys enough. Again, check out more footage from the recorded section, whether it's, you know, quant. Let's face it, I mean, we're really standing out with quant. But heck, you can even throw an XRP on that as well. We're diversified here because we broke into the ISOs. And are you kidding me? I mean, I love talk. We obviously love talking about the ISOs on the live show. So glad and so thankful to have been able to break that barrier finally when it comes to recorded. But yeah, shout out to Larry with the shorts. He's killing it on the shorts, man. It's like fish in a barrel, shooting fish in a barrel. But he's already has 4 hits, if you will, like, you know, kind of like an artist with an album, right? Not every song, right, is a hit. Well, for us on our platform and network, Larry's already got a few hits. Dogecoin, Volt, one he did about the PayPal and the MetaMask, and I might be forgetting one, but yeah, great job, Larry. Right on, man.
Thank you, Max, and thank you for the coverage of the ISOs. And thank you to everybody that joined us here on this Thursday. We'll be back again tomorrow, Friday. And, you know, now that I realize I was wrong, I'm not getting my kids till Sunday. Are you going to go on a Twitter space tomorrow for Waddy and Daniel, one of their Twitter spaces?
I have to get with them in regards to that. I have to double check with them because I didn't get anything like a verification about that. So.
Yeah, I want to talk to them and see if we can get on, because I can actually join them tomorrow with you if you're available. I think they said something like 7 o'clock. So watch out for us on Twitter Spaces. At some point, we'll make a more formal announcement on Twitter. And thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
See you, everybody. Have a great night.